Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to another episode of Enter the Minds of Nadine and Vera Skyner's podcast. We're so excited to have you here for a Valentine's special.
But first, I would like to send our prayers, hugs, and kisses to my sister Terry. She's a baby in the hospital, and I would like to say a quick prayer for her.
Okay.
Father, in the name of Jesus, I know that you are in control, and I pray right now that your will be done, that you will touch Terry's body and heal her like you did my brother-in-law Tony. And I pray that whatever your will is, that you will give the whole family the strength to handle it. And especially be with my mom and all my siblings. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yes, so today we're just going to do an episode of going to get to know Nadine and Vera a little bit better episode. So we're going to ask each other questions so you, our viewers, can get to know us a little bit better. So my first question to my mom is, I know that you was in the military for 41 years, but when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a child, growing up, I did a lot of writing. So I guess I've always wanted to be in the administrative field because it excites me to have paperwork and write down things. And I was very good at it. I wish that when we used to make up stories for you and your brother that we had wrote that down as well. So I would say maybe a writer or in the administrative field.
Okay, cool. Surprisingly enough, I've always wanted to be a doctor when I was a kid, when I was like 6 years old, but I wanted to be a pediatrician. But once I had Kayla and went to college, I decided when I was in the military, I was a nursing assistant or a medical technician in the hospital. And I just saw how closely the nurses work with the patients. And I loved just having that nurse care. And then I saw that the doctors only came in for a few minutes. Of course, they have a hard job of diagnosing, but the nurses were the one that were at their bedsides, and that's when I decided to be a nurse and not a pediatrician. But as a child, middle school, high school, I used to write poems and, my thoughts down as well too. I love the expression of just writing your thoughts down. So we have that in common.
So my first question to you would be, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Um, That's funny that you asked that. My earliest memory is I think when we lived in Hawaii, I remember having like an Easter egg hunt on the beach. I know that you said that we used to go to the beach all the time, but I kind of vaguely remember that. Did that happen?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So love the water.
We would always have a big Easter egg hunt because we would invite the neighborhood kids when we were in Baton Rouge and hide, eggs everywhere and put quarters on. It was really an event that I tried to make fun for.
What was your earliest childhood memory?
I was about 15 months.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple, but my earliest that I'll share with you is I remember the light being turned on and I was climbing out of my crib and I overheard my mom and dad say, I told you she was getting out on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my earliest memory. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
I also became afraid of the dark because apparently the linoleum rug that was in my room was like black and white with little diamonds on it. And when the lights were out, they kind of looked like something else, like bugs or something. So to this day, I sleep with a nightlight.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right. Even when I was married, my husband said, wow, we've been married all these years and my wife still sleep with the nightlight.
Who is your favorite celebrity?
I would say my favorite celebrity would be Richard Gere.
Why Richard Gere?
I just fell in love with him when I watched Officer and the Gentleman, and to be honest, he reminded me of a love that I had in my life.
Interesting.
Very high. I'm not saying the name, but he did.
Okay.
I also like Harrison Ford. I liked his strength, his, manly madness.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is yours?
Well, my favorite celebrity, of course, is probably Beyonce.
But before Beyonce, who was your favorite?
Growing up, everybody used to love the Chicago Bulls. Interestingly enough, I was a big Scottie Pippen fan.
Yes.
I had a Scottie Pippen poster on my wall at 10 years old. So, yes, I was in love with Scottie Pippen until he got married, and then I disowned him.
Well, funny enough, everybody was making a big deal over Michael Jordan, and my daughter was Scotty, Scotty, Scotty. So awesome.
And then actresses, I love Julia Roberts movies. I used to watch
Yes.
all of her movies, Runaway Bride, My Best Friend's Wedding. So Julia Roberts, Beyonce, Scottie Pippen are just some of the few. Of course, you gotta love Denzel as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Tell me a story of a special childhood vacation.
I don't know, childhood vacation. Well, me and my brother told my mom that going to see family is not a childhood vacation.
But it was Miami.
But when we lived in Louisiana, we used to always go to Miami maybe once or twice a year. And it was nice to, be in Miami in December. We could wear shorts for Christmas and just being around family, my grandmother, cousins, aunties, uncles. That was always nice. But favorite family vacation as a child, I don't know. I could tell you my favorite vacation since then was in 2019 when we went to Germany and Paris.
So you're going to stick with the fact that even though we lived in Baton Rouge or Kansas or whatever, going to Miami because family was there, my mom and everyone, you do not count that as a vacation, even though you went to the beach and whatever. You're going to stick to that, huh?
And yes, I am. But I guess I know we used to always go to Georgia, like Pelham, and I know it's a small country town, but I have some great memories of me and my brother running around on the farm, chasing the animals, feeding the pigs, getting chased by animals. Doing stuff that we shouldn't have been doing, climbing fences that we shouldn't have been climbing. But me and my brother used to have a great time in the country.
And that was my godparents' home, the Cochrans.
Yeah, so those were some great memories as a kid, just, being on the farm life and kind of seeing how you grew up, a little bit of seeing how you grew up when you was a child. Now, did you love growing up on the farm?
You love what you know, and I don't have any bad memories. I just know that every day after school, I had to come home and work in the garden, and we had like two huge flower beds, and so that was my chore mostly, but it was what I knew. So I had one pig a year, and I would name it, and I had chickens.
What happened to your pigs?
I was kind of slow. Because every year my G-Pa, my great grandpa, would give me a pig. And that was my friend. I fed it, I talked to it. I loved that pig. And every summer they would kill my pig. It was traumatizing. But to console me, G-Pa would give me another pig. So it took me about 3 or 4 years to realize that the only reason why they was giving me the pig was to fatten it up. And that's why I don't be, into eating pork. I'll eat some bacon, sausage every now and then, but all that pork eating, I didn't do it because I knew it was my pig.
Interesting.
Very.
Now, did you also pick cotton and?
I did not pick cotton. I was a little young for that, but I do remember being a child, a baby, like toddler, and my grandmother would set me at the end of the row, and she picked cotton, and I had to sit there and behave myself. And I remember getting in trouble because I got in the truck and I went through everybody's lunch and ate what I wanted one day. But it's amazing how God take care of babies and food because I was a baby at the time because it was known that snakes would be in a cotton patch, but nothing ever approached me.
Okay. Now, what was the most trouble you gotten into when you were a kid?
Let me see, can I think of one? Okay, I think the biggest one was when we built our home in 1970, grandmother wanted, it was a block house, and she wanted it to be sky blue, which it was. And so one day, grandma and granddaddy just ran to the store for a minute and left me home. And I decided to go in the shed and get this dark, dark brown paint. And I was going to paint the house brown. So I started right by the driveway to paint the house brown. Then I realized, wow, it's too big for me to paint. Oh, I got in the worst trouble ever. But, in addition to that, they didn't go buy paint and paint over it. That brown spot stayed on the house for years. But I realize now as an adult, I ruined property that they worked hard to get. I'm sorry. That's what an only child, being raised as an only child, do. But I did a lot of stuff.
Okay. I was trying to think of something that I did to get in trouble, but I don't remember getting in trouble too much. I do remember when I was in high school, probably about 16 years old, my problem was talking back, and I think my mom jacked me up a little bit for doing that. But other than that,
You were a good child. And then I learned later you was just a sneaky child because you guys would tell stories that I didn't know about. And they weren't bad. It's like when I left you home and you were over the age where you and your brother could stay home, and I would have all my friends go by the house to check on you and everything. And I think the one thing you did was you went outside the door after dark, and I overheard Terry Jr. telling you, I'm going to tell Mama you did that. But other than that, you are a good child.
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay, next question.
Um, what is your favorite memories of being a mom? Or what do you like most about being a mom?
Well, you and Terry have always, since the day you came into the world, been my all in all. When I got divorced, I had you and Terry, so you just being with me and me being able to love on you was all I need to suffice. And God took care of us. So being a mom was a joy for me because you and your brother were good kids. I mean, yeah, Terry Jr. would get in trouble a little bit more than you, but compared to other people's children, I don't have a complaint. You were good kids.
And of course, you love your mom unconditionally, but it's something about having your first child or even your second child. It's like a different love that I know that I can never experience with anyone else besides my kids. There's a saying that, like, when you have kids, it's like you have all this love, but your heart kind of breaks as well because, like, their heartaches are your heartaches, and you always continue to worry about them for the rest of your life. And so it's like once you become a mother, you also become so stressed out and so overwhelmed with worry and just want them to be happy and healthy and loved and for them to know that they are loved
And that never changes.
no, but just the unconditional love that you have for your kids and they have for you, that's like the most amazing feeling. And to see their accomplishments makes it feel like my accomplishments and, their highs are my highs. And I love that.
Well, Tanya, let me ask you this. Would you say you had a happy childhood?
Yeah, I think I had a happy childhood. It was me and Terry Jr. for the most part. Me and Terry Jr. was a package. And even though you and Dad got divorced when we were, what was I, 6?
Yeah, 5 and 6.
Yeah, so
Because you're 15 months apart.
yeah, so I was 6. We used to spend the summers with Dad and the school year with Mom, and I just know that when we were with you, we were happy, and when we were with Dad, we were happy, and we were together, we were happy, just me and Terry, and then our younger siblings came along when I was about 12. Malcolm, Mike, and Michelle came along later, but yes, I know that every weekend you would give me and Terry an allowance, take us to the mall. We went to everything was $1. Take us to the flea market. We love going to the flea market on the weekends, and then we would go to the movies. So, you will always take us places, take us downtown on the river.
The thing is, didn't have much money.
You made it work.
But we made it work. I mean, because Tanya and Terry loved riding on the ferry. So we would go drive up on the ferry and take it across the river. And there were so many things that we just found how to do that was fun. I would drive all the way from Baton Rouge to New Orleans just so that you guys would be right there on the riverside, the ocean side, because you were used to water. And, you know, it doesn't cost a lot of money to give your children undivided attention.
And I think that's the most important thing. And anytime you had time off, you were always doing something with us. And I remember going to Lafayette for the Mardi Gras parades. And, you know, even when I was in high school.
New Rose, too. New Rose.
We had a great time. Yeah, Mardi Gras in Louisiana is like next level. Everyone should experience it at least once.
Yes.
So, yeah, we had the parades. And even in high school, me and Terry were in the band. Mom was at all of our parades and football games, and we were like, you don't have to come if you don't want, because she was the one that was dancing along to the music doing the Tootsie Roll. So she was trying to embarrass us, but then after a while we got used to it. But our friends loved the fact that she would get out there and do her Tootsie Roll and do her mommy dance or whatever.
Well, what I like to say about you is you were the same way with your children when they were young. Matter of fact, I had to remind you that if you got 3 days off, you do not have to take them somewhere all 3 days because you needed to have a day for you. But you were the same way with your children and very attentive. And that's why we're blessed that they came out so well. You know, when you have two, like I had 2 kids, you had 2 kids, and they both come out great, that's a blessing. It's not a given because other people have so much, you know, stressful moments with their children. We look at ours and we say, well, no, we were blessed.
Yes, but just going back to doing things with your kids, that just made me happy. You know, seeing them happy made me happy, and wouldn't change anything for the world.
What is your favorite holiday and why?
My favorite holiday is still Christmas. William loves Christmas as well. He low-key, you know, he loves Christmas. I love Christmas because that's for sure the time of year, like your family comes around, and of course it's about, you know, praising the Lord, thanking Jesus, happy birthday, and all of that good stuff. But just everybody togetherness and the love, and so Christmas is my favorite. Thanksgiving is a lot of people's favorite, but I'm not a big food person, so I'm all about the size, so I don't have to have the turkey, and so I don't really get the food part, but just the family gathering makes it great.
And Thanksgiving is mine, not because of the food, but because people are focused on thanking the Lord, being thankful. So I would have to say Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
But I say Christmas just because leading up, it's like such a happy time. At work, everybody's happy. At home, it seems like it's like the most joyous time of the year. So that's why I like Christmas.
So let me ask you this. What is your earliest memory of me as your mother?
Wow. That's a good question. I don't really remember.
What about your dad? Me or your dad?
I will tell you this, that my mom was addicted to Cokes, Coca-Colas back in the day. And can I tell your cigarette story or no?
Tell it.
Okay. She also, you know, my mom smoked cigarettes with me and Terry. So don't like, but it is what it is. And I was the type of kid that always had money stashed away because I just felt like we needed money for a rainy day. And mom was broke. And one time she came and asked me for a couple dollars to buy her some cigarettes, and I told her no. And needless to say, I ended up giving it to her because I didn't want her to you know, freak out about it. So,
well, the real story is I said, okay, you guys want me to stop smoking? I stopped. And then they came back to me and say, Mama, you need some cigarettes? Because I guess I was kind of like nutty buddy, you know?
I didn't want to say that, but yeah. But I remember one time just you wanted a Coke, and we were like looking in the couch cushion for some change. Oh, I do remember this. Like during the summer times, mom still had to work, and I was 10, Tara was 9. So um, we said we lived in apartments, which we loved at the time because I love living in apartments because it was a bunch of kids that we can play with. Mom rule was we couldn't leave the house until after 12, and she would call to make sure that we were in the house. But she always had this big piggy bank that she would collect change in all year. And during the summertime, we would be able to get like $1 out for like ice cream cone or Dixie cups. You know, Louisiana in the South, Dixie cups are a big thing. And so we always had change to go out and get us something nice and cold during the summer months. But just you, I just remember as you as a mom, I just remember that you always wanted the best for me and Tara. You always did whatever you could to make us happy. You was at everything. Um, I just remember you just working hard. I just remember you in your military uniform and how proud I was of you. Just just working hard. I don't know exactly my first memory, but yeah.
Okay, so if you were to say one thing to each of your siblings, what would it be?
Okay.
And name them because you have more than just your brother, Terry Jr. So go ahead.
So yes, growing up in the household, mom only has two kids, me and Terry Jr. And me and Terry Jr. as kids, we were like the best of friends. I was like his second mom. He actually listened to me until we were about in high school. Like he did whatever I wanted him to do. And so we have that close bond. And we're still close. In our 20s, we might have clashed a little bit, but best brother ever. Anytime I try to be even think about being mad at him, he does something sweet. So me and him just have the closeness of growing up with each other. And when mom was in the military and had to be deployed, when she was in Germany for Desert Shield, Desert Storm, or when she went to Guatemala, just we were close knit because it was always me and Terry. So to Terry, I'm so proud of you. I think you're a genius. I think you're so smart. And thank you for helping me raise my kids. And just thank you for being a good role model for them and a good brother to me. So I have a lot of siblings. With my natural father, Charles, I have sisters. So my first sister, Sharisha, she lives in Chicago. Um, didn't meet her till I was 18, but the thing with all my siblings is, I always want to continue to get closer with them and hopefully, meet up and we try to meet with each other as much as we can. So I have Sharisha, she's so sweet and would do anything for you. I have my sister Clarissa, who lives in Atlanta, who's doing big things. She's a PR person, publicist or whatever, and she's a money boss making woman. So I'm very proud of her and all her boss moves. My sister Ramika, who lives in Maryland, um, she's so sweet because she thinks that I'm so sweet. Anyway, I love you, Ramika, and my little sister Nikki. She lives in Atlanta as well. And I just want to say to all my sisters that we do need to get together. I love you guys so much. And we need to continue to try to get together. Now, Malcolm, so that's with my natural father, but with Terry Sr., I have Terry Jr., of course, Malcolm. He was just here for the Super Bowl weekend, so he was here for several days. Unfortunately, I was kind of sick. I had a little sinus infection, but he's my sweetest brother for sure. He was 12, 13. I was 12 when he was born, and we lived with dad and Yvetta when I was in 8th grade and Terry was in 7th grade. And Malcolm just loved me so much. He clung to me. Anytime he got a popsicle for himself, he got one for me. He was all about Latanya. Like I was his favorite sister. Michael was next. He was the prettiest baby. Everybody thought he was a girl because he was so pretty, but he was just like a chill brother. And then my sister Michelle, she was the youngest for a long time. I wish that me and her grew up together when I wish that we were a little bit closer in age. We have like a 16-year age gap, but I love Michelle. She's her unique self, her butterfly self. And yeah, Michelle. And then
Natasha?
Natasha, unfortunately, I haven't met her yet, but one day, hopefully, she lives in Romania with her mom, and hopefully one day I will get to meet her. So, what is one thing you would say about your siblings?
Okay, my oldest sister Melinda and I got to live together. Oh, let me back up. My grandparents raised me in Pelham, Georgia, and they got me when I was 3. It's a long story short. Mama and dad had children. Times were hard, so grandma and granddaddy went to visit them. They were living in Ocala at the time, and they asked them if I could come home for with them for a visit. And they chose me because they said I looked more like a Sheffield than anyone. But not only that, I was just kind of real friendly and on them when they were visiting. So I go home with them at 3 and I never left. And it only happened because times were hard. Mom and dad got divorced. So, you know, I went through a spell where I was not happy about that, but the truth is I had a better life than my siblings because I was raised as an only child. They gave me everything. On Sunday, I had my little princess dresses and shoes and socks with laces and purse and a hat. And, granddaddy would take me riding with him, show me off and all that. I had my own room where my siblings had to share. My room had a white vanity dresser mirror with, I literally had lace cover and curtains that match and a chiffon. So I had a princess life and I was protected from the world. Believe me. Because when I joined the military, I was so wrong.
She had a sheltered life.
I didn't know a lot of things. And you would not believe what I did not know. And so I had to learn in the military. But yeah, to each of my siblings, my sister Melinda, to me in my heart, she's the sweetest. I love her because I love when we were together. And then after she left, she would send me outfits to wear. She really gave me special attention and care. So I love you, Melinda, so much. And you are the sweetest. And then there was Priscilla when I went to stay with mom, I stayed with my mom my junior year in high school. And Priscilla and I are 11 months apart. And it's so funny because she's real short. I'm the only tall one. I'm 5'9". Everybody else is like 5'2", 5'3". And I think Priscilla might have been just 5. So we were just like the twins, the show that come on TV, the twins. Mm-hmm. And so Scylla and I would kind of clash because she wanted to be in charge, and I would just look at her and just push her little self out my way, But I loved her. She could sing, oh my God. And she was the one that everybody followed. She set the trend. I remember one day she had these light blue shorts she loved to wear. So she looked at them and they weren't clean, so she turns them inside out and put them on. And do you know the neighborhood kids started wearing their clothes inside out because she did that. That's how popular she was. Mm-hmm. But I love her. She's gone now, but she was the one that would have made it big had she lived in the celebrity world because she could sing. And then there's the next one after me is Daphne. Daphne was the baby for a long time. We're 2 years apart. And she was just that little Princess Daphne. But she always kind of like had a personality where she had her own agenda. She wasn't trying to like be close to anyone because she was going to do what she was going to do. But I've always been proud of her because she worked for the Courier, the news Courier, when we was in high school, and she was just a go-getter. Mm-hmm. And then there's Bo, my baby brother. He's the boy. He's the only one that male child in the family. And I remember when I would go stay in the summer with mom, he had his own room, and he was particular about his room. He didn't let no one in his room, but he let me in. Mm-hmm. And I remember flying in, and he caught the bus to come pick me up at the airport, and him and my sister Terry, they would have so many, this is what we're going to do today, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. I know my brother loved me and I love him so much. And then there's baby sister Terry. She and Bo, the babies, they were like, made me feel like they really love me a lot. And what I would say to them is, I'm very proud of you because Terry is the psychology of the family. She was actually the first one graduated with a bachelor, and she just was a go-getter. So I have twin brothers that I don't think I met till I was 16, Alonzo and Alfonso. I'm very proud of them. And had a sister, Cynthia. And last but not least, my baby brother, Robert Jr., was born when I was 18 years old. He was 3 months when he came to my high school graduation. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's awesome, just to have my siblings. And by the way, the oldest of us all is Leroy Alvin Akeway. I actually knew Leroy growing up because I was in Pelham and he was in Camilla. And when we would go to church or we would go to it's a place like where when you're a farmer, you go to. Mm-hmm. And my grandpa, Willie, would be there with Leroy. He was Leroy then, now he's Alvin. And we knew each other and we kind of grew up together. So I love all my siblings. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone, but I love you all.
Hopefully I didn't miss any either. Just kidding. Mom, who's your favorite music artist?
My favorite music artist would be Luther Vandross. I know he's gone, and I have several, and I was very fond of Tupac. Mm.
She used to be jamming Tupac on the weekends for sure.
Yeah, I remember when he passed and we was at a football game, my heart dropped. Now, looking at the ones that are living, I love myself some Jill Scott. Oh my goodness, if I could just sing like Jill Scott. And of course, no one will ever, like growing up, replace Gladys Knight. I had a record. I had a little 45 player, and I had Gladys Knight record.
So were you that kid in her room listening to music all the time?
Yes, I kind of stayed to myself because, when your grandparents raised you, you don't want to be around that because they claim you're staring or you better not say anything or I'll hit you in the mouth or something. So I was be in my room writing and listening. I only had about 2 or 3 records. I had Jackson 5, Dancing, 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 the one that was Robot. Mm-hmm. And then I had Gladys Knight and listened to them over and over and over. And I love to sing, so that's what I was doing.
Mom, who was my favorite artist as a kid? Maybe around 10 years old. If you don't know, that's fine.
Give me a second. Okay. A singer?
Yeah. Female singer.
I have no idea.
Whitney Houston.
Everybody loved Whitney.
I used to be in my... So I didn't have what is that called? A record player. We had just a radio with tapes. And I would sit there and listen to the radio and try to record songs on the tape. But then you had to be very careful not to record the commercials. So we had it rough back in the day. But I used to love me some Whitney Houston. One of my memories of you, Mom, is whenever I did get in trouble. And when I say got in trouble and Mom punished me, it would be I couldn't watch TV. Everybody knows that I'm addicted to TV. What was my favorite show growing up, Mom?
90210.
I used to love some 90210. But if I was punished, somehow mysteriously, right at 7 or 8 o'clock when 90210 came on, she came in my room and told me that I couldn't watch it.
Because, punishing my children, I felt punished, and, I remember Terry Jr., he had several shows that he liked, and I would take him off punishment after a day. And that boy would say, no, that's okay. I'll stay punished because I need to catch up on my reading anyway. But like Tanya say, you feel what your children feel. You don't want them to be sad. So, yeah, I wasn't too good with the punishment. One thing I would do, though, like, remember you guys used to play Mario way back when the game started? You had Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I would take toys from you That I would take them, hide them, and forget. And I would tell the kids, you better not ask me for it because I'm going to add more time, but I'm not going to tell you how much time. So I remember with Mario, he had been 2 or 3 months. And I said, why haven't you guys been playing the Nintendo that you just had to have? And they said, Mama, you took it away. You told us not to ask for it. So I was pretty hard on that long-term punishment.
Yes, very interesting. Okay, so next question. Well, one of my favorite group artists was Jagged Edge. I love, love, love Jagged Edge. Boys to Men as well. Kayla took me to a Boys to Men concert last year in Jacksonville, and it was amazing. They still got it. They could still sing. So just music, growing up with music in our household was just what I remember as a kid as well. So we're going to start wrapping this up, but I just wanted to say that everyone who knows me knows that my family is like the most important thing to my kids. Kayla, Brianna, Nadine, you're my heart. Um, I'm so proud of all your accomplishments that you made so far in life at only 23 years old. And then I have my son William, who's my baby, who's doing big things, who is just he's a little genius as well and smart, and he just takes college like it's so easy and just I love that both my kids just do what they need to do when it comes to school and work, and you guys make me proud each and every day, and I love that I can brag on you, and I love that you guys love me. One of the things Kayla just recently told me is that she loved our mother-daughter trips, and the fact that she's 23 and still loves hanging out with me is pretty cool. The fact that William will still come watch, football with me or, come lay next to me on the couch is still pretty cool. And I just love you guys with all of my heart. Just know that I love you guys so much.
And I want to say, being a grandparent is different from being a parent. And I just want to thank my grandchildren for loving me because they don't have to, but they do. They love me unconditionally. And I love them with my all.
And even though I cringe a little bit every time she says that, that mom always says that I'm her best friend, but in truth, she is my best friend as well, and I love you so much.
I love you too.
And thank you for just being you.
Thank you for just being you.
So thank you guys thank you for your comments. We've been having some comments on our podcast and some good feedback. So please continue to give us our feedback. We love that you guys are interacting with us. We love that you like my Uncle Larry's podcast, the last one we had. We loved having him on the show. Happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully you guys go do something fun.
And remember, if you are interested in being a guest on one of the podcasts, you're more than welcome to let us know and we could do this, okay? Because we want you to feel that this is your podcast as well.
So you can follow us on YouTube. Our videos will be uploaded at Nadine and Vera Sconyers on YouTube. And then you can also listen to us on Spotify and just search Enter the Minds of Nadine and Vera podcast. And you can listen to our podcast. We love you and have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.